Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my experience going to therapy and 3 things that I've learned. So yeah, and if you guys stay till the end of the video, I'll be sharing with you specifically how I found my therapist and how you can find one for yourself. So first of all, what is therapy? Therapy is basically just sitting down with an unbiased third party who is just there to listen and help you with your stuff. And it's largely dependent upon who you choose. You know, I don't think all therapy is the same. It really depends on who you choose and you know, what's affordable. So why I started going, I don't know, I feel like around this time last year I just had a profound fundamental shift in my needs and priorities, and family, motherhood, those themes really came to the forefront, and the gap between where I'm at now and that really caused me to start feeling like I was behind in life, like I started questioning if I deserved it. And then in terms of being able to attract a partner who I could fulfill that with, you know, I started to question whether or not I was desirable enough. And you saw me kind of, you know, I've been wearing my hair straight, just going through all this stuff because I think that that was kind of at the core of the questions around my desirability. I think at around Christmas time, you know, that these things were really coming to the forefront. The feelings of all the feelings I mentioned were really coming up, and the tools that I had, you know, to process them, they just weren't enough. I needed some help. I need some help. So I went, and it's been good. I mean, the work is still, it's the work, you know, in between the sessions, but I've noticed some things, and that's what I'm going to share with you guys. It's shifted a lot. It's just naming my feelings, just being able to name and claim and acknowledge my feelings. So I grew up in an environment where my emotional needs, you know, they were neglected, and as a result I felt, you know, really lonely because I wasn't able to connect with, you know, my caregivers in that way. And as a result, I've healing from that emotional neglect is the process of becoming that, you know, that parent that can like recognize and nurture my own feelings and acknowledge my own needs. And even right now, like just being able to say like, okay, what is it that I'm feeling right now? And right now I feel a little uncomfortable. I feel nervous, which is why I'm like fidgeting, and because I rarely ever do this, and it makes me uncomfortable to talk about how I'm feeling. So I feel nervous. I feel like I'm gonna be judged. I feel like the veneer and the mask of perfection is slipping. Not that it was ever there in the first place, but it's scary. And yeah, so that's what I feel right now. So even that process of just being able to name what it is that I'm feeling, it's hard, but I think it makes me a human to be able to acknowledge how I feel. But it's really uncomfortable, especially when other people see you do it. You know, I think that that's the next part that I have to put into practice, which is being able to name my feelings with myself and then share them with other people. I think that's part of the reason why I'm making this video, but that is the essence of, you know, vulnerability, is being able to share how you're feeling with others, and that's how you create an emotional connection, which is what we're all looking for in a way. So yeah, I deploy this practice when I'm feeling like a rush of emotions, to just be able to like name them and parse through them and then determine how I'm gonna react to each one. And it really helps me not to become so overwhelmed with the tidal wave of negative emotion, because I can just sit down and parse through each one. And that is honestly what about 65% of my time in quarantine has been, just me sitting with and parsing through my feelings. So the next thing, so the first one was naming feelings. The second one is recognizing patterns. Whew, all right. Recognizing my patterns, recognizing the things about myself that I habitually do that I don't like, that are not yielding me the outcomes that I say that I want. Because when you sit down and you start telling your story over and over again, like if you have supportive friends, they'll be like, girl. But with my therapist, at least, she's really helpful at not just talking about the pattern, but how it has related to my childhood. So I'll give an example. So like the lack of emotional connection and fulfillment, you know, it made me feel like there was something inherently wrong with me, not being able to connect on that level. And you know, there were people in my life that would affirm this idea that I was inherently evil, and there was just something wrong with me. And this belief that I have about myself caused me to sabotage very important situations and circumstances to confirm this belief that I had, that I just was not good enough. And this, you know, when you continue to, you know, let yourself down and sabotage situations that are really important, it causes you to, you start to confirm your own belief. And over time, I started to accept less than what it is that I said I wanted or deserved, because I didn't feel like I deserved anything. So, I mean, just bringing awareness to the fact that this is my tendency and this is my pattern, I mean, it's been really helpful to know that I have this tendency to do that. And it hasn't so much, and I feel like understanding that that's my pattern and my tendency, it makes me understand why I am, or why I am at where I am, right? Why, you know, I haven't been able to get the things that I say that I want. And so it's not that I don't feel behind in life anymore, I just have way more compassion and understanding and compassion for myself, because I understand why I have not been able to allow myself to do those things. So the first one was recognizing my pattern. No, the first one was naming my feelings. The second one is just recognizing my pattern, and everyone's pattern is different. And the third one, so yeah. And the third one is just like taking responsibility, because literally no one is coming to save me. The responsibility that I have to take for my life, it feels like a giant weight that I sometimes don't really even know where to start with. You know, everything is my responsibility, and the idea of like having to do it alone is daunting. Because my fantasy, the way that I coped as a little kid, so I guess like I didn't realize that I was like living in a little girl fantasy, right? This idea that Prince Charming would come in and save me, sweep me off my feet, and then, you know, my life would start, and then I would have to, you know, get my stuff together. But no, you've got to do it now before this person, you know, comes into your life. Like, it's just you know, it's just me. And I think this whole idea of looking outside of myself for someone to come in and like be that savior was really informed by my Christian upbringing, because you know, the way I interpreted the scriptures was that Jesus would come back, you know, and pay it all. And you know, waiting around until there's some outside miraculous event to occur in order to take action, it definitely caused me to kind of stall. But also the idea of deferring responsibility to someone outside of myself was really attractive, because I didn't feel like I could trust myself, because I was so detached from how I felt, because I didn't feel like I was good enough. I didn't necessarily want to take on the responsibility and the burden of my own existence, because I didn't think I was capable of doing it. So yeah, it's honest, and I would say that my relationship with responsibility, it's still challenging. I'm still having to learn how to be a responsible person, and it's hard because I feel like I'm having to do all this by myself. Whereas other people, you know, and not trying to compare myself to other people, I would just prefer to have, obviously I would prefer to be with someone and like, you know, not have to go through all these things by myself, but that's just where I'm at right now. And, you know, I've been really afraid of being alone, but I'm starting to realize that I am alone. You know, it is just me right now, and that is okay. You know, it is okay to be alone. And, sometimes I do feel lonely though, and I think that it's part of the reason why I made this video, is just because I want to connect more with you guys so that I don't necessarily have to feel, you know, so alone in this world. Yeah, so that would be great. Because I think part of the reason why I don't really often make videos, or I'm not as consistent as, you know, obviously some of the things here, because I didn't really, you know, do a good job at creating like a connection with you guys, and I guess this is my way of trying. So the feelings, and I think what I'm feeling right now is, yeah, just a need, a desire to just want to connect with you guys, and I don't know, just wanting to feel like I matter to you. I don't know, because this channel matters a lot to me, even though I don't really show up in the ways that I should. So I'm a basket case. So yeah, that's what I've been learning in therapy, you guys. Just the importance of naming my feelings, being able to recognize my pattern, and having to take responsibility. And yeah, it's been great in the most excruciating way possible. But yeah, as promised, you guys, if you go in the link below, I have a link to a directory of all Black therapists, and there's also a link to BetterHelp, which is a digital platform where you guys can go and speak with a therapist online. And if any of the things about that I was sharing with you about emotional neglect in childhood resonates with you, there's a link to a book that I've been reading called Healing from Emotionally Immature Parents that you may want to check out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.